Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
25-year-old Alabama resident William Watson was out on bail on December 31st of 2020 for state drug trafficking charges when he live streamed himself playing a video game. And in this live stream, he threatened to murder Joe Biden. Watson said he was not going to go to jail for the drug charges. Instead, he said that he would just go to D.C. to kill Biden and, quote, "You can take me out that way." On January 5th of 2021, he traveled to D.C. He took a stun gun and a knife with a 3 to 4 inch blade, and he carried that knife into the Capitol with him on January 6th. You guys are definitely going to remember Watson. He was among the very first of the mob to push past the officers on the inauguration scaffolding. He also used his knife to cut the fabric that was covering the scaffolding. That made it easier for him and others to climb through and move through the structure. So after forcing his way past several lines of officers, he reached that level of the building. And somewhere along the way, he either found or he was given a can of pepper spray, because as he neared the Capitol, he pointed the can of pepper spray at a small group of police. Then he followed the mob to the Senate wing doors. This is where Proud Boys member Dominic Pezzola used a stolen riot shield to smash in part of a window. Then after 2 people crawled through the small opening that he made, Watson jumped up on the window ledge and he smashed in the remainder of the glass. So that made it easy for him and everyone else to climb into the building. That was the very first breach on January 6th of the building. And Watson was among the very first few people to enter the Capitol. Watson was also one of the people who was seen infamously chasing Officer Eugene Goodman up several flights of stairs. And that's where he was confronted by another small group of additional officers. As Watson entered the area, the Secret Service was simultaneously evacuating Vice President Mike Pence. They were literally just on the other side of the door from that. They didn't even know. So one of the officers asked Watson and his group, which contained the QAnon shaman, by the way, asked them, "Do you have any weapons with you?" So Watson pulled out the can of pepper spray. He showed it to the officer, and then the officer asked him to hand it over, and Watson ignored him and put it back in his pocket. So this standoff lasted for about 30 minutes, and then one member of the mob deployed a fire extinguisher at the police. So that's when Watson and the others pushed past them. This group was successfully stopped, though, by officers who were waiting in other hallways. And eventually, after like 45 minutes, Watson was escorted out of the building. Sometime after the Capitol attack, Watson posted a video on Snapchat, and he said, quote, "They want to call me Antifa because I have a video game tattoo on my hand, and I was pleading for peaceful discourse. Let them say what they will. The fake news won't win against the thousands of patriots recorded today." So his own, not the mainstream media that he's thinking of. No, it's Fox News and the like, calling him Antifa, even though he's clearly a Trump supporter. So on January 11th of 2021, the FBI interviewed Watson. He admitted to all of his actions, with the exception of helping to break the window. He also falsely claimed that he didn't witness any violence at the Capitol, other than law enforcement's, quote, aggressive use of tear gas and pepper balls and mace. So Watson was arrested on May 4th of 2021, and he was charged with obstructing an official proceeding, destruction of government property, entering a restricted building with a deadly or dangerous weapon, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, one of which included a dangerous weapon enhancement, 2 counts of physical violence, one of which also included a dangerous weapon enhancement, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. Unlike most January 6 defendants, Watson refused a plea deal. He opted instead for a stipulated bench trial. And in November of 2022, Watson was found guilty of obstructing an official proceeding and entering a restricted building with a dangerous weapon. So based on the obstruction charge, he was facing up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. The prosecutor, however, requested 46 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $12,000 in restitution. And as I mentioned, Watson is facing prison time for a previous crime. In July of 2020, the police found LSD, THC edibles, Molly, assorted drug paraphernalia, $15,022 in cash, and 10 guns in Watson's home. The following month, Watson was indicted on 2 counts of drug trafficking and also 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance. So he had a plea hearing scheduled for today, for March 14th. And if a plea agreement can't be reached in his case, then that trial is scheduled for March 27th. I should also mention that Watson wasn't allowed to leave the state because of those charges. So his bail was revoked. He was sent back to jail. That was from January 11th through April 28th of 2021. Then they reinstated his bond and they made him wear an ankle monitor and submit to biweekly drug tests. So he's not a political prisoner. He violated his bail conditions. They threw him back in jail. I'm not sure what went down at the sentencing hearing because the transcript hasn't been released yet in regard to the January 6th case, but U.S. District Judge Reggie Walton presided over Watson's case, and he sentenced Watson to 3 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and he's going to make a determination about the requested restitution after the defense attorney submits additional information. That amount, by the way, was obviously, the combination of the standard $2,000 plus the replacement costs of the window. I'm a bit shocked by this sentence because Judge Walton usually gives the prosecutor what they ask for, and other people who didn't vandalize the building or carry a weapon, they received more prison time than Watson. Take, for instance, former police officer Thomas Robertson. He wasn't violent. And he didn't break anything. He did have a weapon, but it was like a stick or a cane or something. He was sentenced to 87 months in prison after he pleaded guilty to conspiracy. This guy went to trial and lost. So it just seems so random at times. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this. Like I said, with this judge, I'm very shocked. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. I appreciate it so much. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.